Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, Capital Markets Analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. We're live at the 2019 MJ BizCon. We're here with Rohit Srivastava, Chief Investment Officer and Portfolio Manager with Saroj and Bhanu Fund, to talk to us about the AI-based algorithm with technical analysis, predictive analysis, all for entertainment purposes only. So with that, Rohit, why don't you tell us what's happening next week?
Well, thanks, Josh. Thanks again for having me. Well, a lot of excitement happened this week. Let's do first the unusual stuff, which is this is all for entertainment, it's all for learning perspective. We're not giving any financial advice here, so just disclaimer there. We'll first go over the equally weighted investments index and see how it's doing. So this was about 2-3 months ago. This was last week. It was still testing, and it is still testing at that. It has slipped a little bit, but I would say that it is still testing at this point. And like next couple of weeks is going to tell that if it's going to catch up after that. Now, on a cash flow point of view, the in and out cash flow point of view, this is what we were experiencing last couple of weeks. And this was last week where it was still hovering below the zero line and hovering below the average daily trade value for equity. But this week we have the index it's crossing over. It crossed over on 12.9. So a lot of cash has been put in there, and a lot of cash has been pumped into these stocks. Now, the next couple of days is very critical, because if this stays above this, then it might be a point to get back into this. And I would say a lot of these stocks are on discount at this point. They are like really heavily at really low values. Even the good ones are really at low values. So I would say that I think it's probably a good time, and that's why a lot of buyers are trying to get back into this and trying to take advantage of that sale. Now, last week when we talked about it, Josh, we were talking about the short sale, about short sellers, and then we're talking about like what is there. So for people who don't know about this, there is something called a short interest. And what the short interest is, it defines how much of the quantity of stocks have been shorted. And this is I just pulled it up from the Investopedia, and taking as like an example, if there are 1.5 million stocks sold shorted, and there are about 10 million of outstanding stocks for that particular stock, then the 15% is what we define as the short interest. Now here is the list of all the stocks we track, and all the stocks we track, and what is their short interest. This data is taken from Ameritrade, so thanks for that. But like you can see, some of these stocks, and this is as per 11/29, so that's the data we have, latest data we have. So based on that, you can see that there was a tremendous amount of shorting that was happening for these particular stocks, which actually fell pretty badly during that time. But if it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it just means that a lot of investors are thinking that it's probably going to fall. That's what it really means. Like Tesla has a very high amount of short interest, but people have lost billions in shorting Tesla too. So it's not an indicator that, oh yeah, let's go and buy these short deals. It's just an indicator saying that what the investors are thinking. But on the positive side, what I can really say that some of our key picks like the MO, ABBV, and PMD, these are the ones which have very low short interest, which really means that, you know what, not a lot of expectation around that the stock is going to crash or do anything. Some of these stocks, ABBV and MO, are really good dividend stocks. So I would say that I think people trust those more than any other stocks as well. So just giving you an idea about where all these short interest is. Now, Cron is probably like it is struggling on the price perspective, and also from a short perspective, there's a lot of people betting that it's going to go even lower than that. But so next couple of weeks, we'll see what's happening. From a short-term perspective, we this was where last week we sold 3 of those, and 2 of them we got back into it, which is GWPH and Cara. And like we talked about earlier, the 12.9 was the trigger when a lot of cash was flowing in. And this is one of the stocks which I think is, and we talked about this last week, that $15, around $15 is probably a good price to buy, considering where it is right now. So I think those are the 2 stocks which the short-term buyers or the equally weighted index would probably get into that. From a conclusion, where we're still hovering on 475 support, but a lot of money has been pumped into the market in the last 1 week, and I would say that I think it's a good time to get in, but in the next couple of days, if it stays above that thing, then it's a great time to get into that. And from VAR, we bought GWPH and we bought Cara, which I didn't mention that, but we bought those 2 stocks. That's all I have for you, Josh, today.
That's fascinating. So it looks like there was a lot of maybe reallocation, people just taking money out quickly, but then the very following week it bounced right back, and then you fast forward another week and there's even more money put back into it. So that could be a very positive sign, but I am gonna continue with what you said and say hold until next week to make sure that that's not a fake or false breakout, or just kind of a glitch, or not glitch, but just a quick shift in funds rather than a solid long-term investment. So I'm not sure if that's going to remain, but you're going to have to come back to the Talking Hedge and find out. Very fascinating with that cash flow in and out. So appreciate that analysis. With that, we're going to roll this one up. This is the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid. I want to thank my guest, Rohit Srivastava, Chief Investment Officer and Portfolio Manager with Saroj and Bhanu Fund. Thanks again for being back on the podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.
By the way, if you enjoy the content, please show your support with the cushy gesture of $4.20 a month on the Talking Hedges Patreon page. This will kind of help you spread the word. I've been asked to speak all over the world, from Toronto and Colombia, Spain, Miami, all over, Tokyo. But your support's important to me. I haven't monetized the podcast. I want to be as authentic and transparent as possible. I want to avoid conflicts of interest, or even the perception of paid opinions. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or pay me on the Talking Hedges Patreon page, or don't, and I'm out.